Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, affects pretty much all of us, our digital lives. All those photos, documents, everything. We're going to talk about building your very own digital safety net with cloud backup and recovery. But first, let me ask you something. Just imagine for a second. What if, right at this moment, your computer gave up the ghost, your phone went missing, and every single file you owned just, poof, vanished? All those years of photos, that big project you've been grinding on, gone. That little knot of panic in your stomach? Yeah, that's exactly what we're here to prevent. And here's the good news. There's a brilliant solution. I want you to think of it like a safety net for a high-wire trapeze artist. You'd never attempt those crazy flips with that one, right? Well, in our digital world, the cloud is that safety net, always there to catch your most valuable stuff if anything goes wrong. So let's pull back the curtain and see how this whole safety net actually works. We're going to start with the absolute basics. First up, cloud backup. In the simplest terms, it's just the act of making a copy of your important files and sending them to a super secure server somewhere on the internet. It means your data is safe and sound, far away from any local disasters, whether that's a spilled coffee or a total hard drive meltdown. But, having a backup is only half the story. The other absolutely critical piece of the puzzle is data recovery. This is the magic moment. It's the process of actually getting your data back when you need it most. It's when that safety net catches you and lets you restore everything that was lost, deleted, or messed up. This slide just nails it. Honestly, if you forget everything else, just remember this one thing. Backup saves your data, and recovery restores it. One is about protection, the other is about getting it back. You absolutely need both. They're two sides of the same coin. So, what does this actually look like in practice? It's basically a simple four-step dance. First, you tell it what files are important. Second, that data gets scrambled or encrypted for security and sent up to the cloud. Third, it gets stored safely. And finally, whenever disaster strikes, you just recover it. It's simple, it's secure, and it is incredibly powerful. All right, so now that we get the what, let's dig into the different styles of cloud backup because, not all services are the same, and finding the one that fits your needs is really the key. You've basically got three main types. A full backup is the brute force method. It copies absolutely everything, every single time. It's great for your very first backup, but it can be really slow. Incremental is way smarter. It only saves the tiny little bits that have changed since your last backup, which makes it super fast and efficient for daily use. And then differential is kind of the happy medium. It backs up everything that's changed since your last full backup. And where does all this data live? Well, most of us are using the public cloud. Think services like Google Drive, iCloud, or Dropbox. They're awesome for personal use. But then you have big organizations, like banks or governments, that might use a private cloud for maximum Fort Knox level security. And a hybrid model? That just combines the two to get the best of both worlds. Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But let's get real for a second. Nothing's perfect. So now we're going to take a good, honest look at the pros and the cons of trusting the cloud with your stuff. The upsides are, huge. You're protected from almost any disaster you can think of. You have total accessibility. Your files are with you wherever you have internet. And my personal favorite? Automatic scheduling. You just set it and forget it. Plus, it's cost-effective and it's scalable, which means as your digital life grows, your storage can just grow right along with it. But of course, there are always trade-offs. The big one is that you are completely dependent on your internet connection. And if you have a ton of data, you're probably going to have to pay for a storage plan. There are also totally valid privacy concerns. You are, after all, handing your files over to someone else. And finally, if you ever need to restore a massive backup, it can take a while. So knowing all that, the good and the bad, how do we do this the right way? In this last section, we're going to cover the absolute must-know best practices so you can back up your stuff like a pro. Okay, listen up because this is crucial. If you're going to remember just one single thing from our entire chat today, please make it this, the 3-2-1 rule. This isn't just a suggestion, it is the gold standard for making sure your data is truly, genuinely safe. So let's break it down. The 3 is easy. You need to have 3 total copies of your data. That's your original file plus 2 backups. That right there protects you from all the simple stuff, like a file getting corrupted or you accidentally hitting delete. Next up, the 2.
This means you store those copies on two different types of media. So, for example, one copy on your computer's hard drive and another one on an external hard drive. Why? Because this prevents a single point of failure, like that external drive dying, from wiping out everything.
And finally, the one. This is the big one. You have to keep at least one of those copies off-site. And this is exactly where the cloud comes in. An off-site copy is what protects you from a major local disaster. We're talking a fire, a flood, or even theft. This, my friends, is your ultimate safety net.
And once you've got that 3-2-1 rule down, here are a few more pro tips to really lock things in. Automate everything. Set it and forget it. Always encrypt your data for privacy. And this is so important. Test your recovery process every now and then. A backup you can't restore from is completely useless. And of course, keep an eye on your backup logs to make sure everything's running smoothly. Look, this isn't just some abstract tech theory, right? This stuff matters in real life every single day. For a student, it's Google Drive saving their final paper when their laptop dies the night before it's due. For a photographer, it's iCloud protecting their life's work when their phone gets stolen. And for a huge company, it's a service like AWS that literally keeps them in business after a server crashes. It applies to everyone.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this simple truth. Backup protects your today, recovery saves your tomorrow. So, I'll just leave you with this one question. Now that you know all this, what's your plan to protect your digital life? Thanks for joining me.